Greetings and grace. Hey, I pray you are well today. Hey, it's a brand new month, and now we are getting into the topic of leadership. Thank the Lord God Almighty. We're taking things up a notch. If you tuned in last month, we talked a lot about stopping sabotage, stopping the finish of stop sabotaging ourselves. So I want to encourage you guys to definitely take a look at those. We went through a whole lot all throughout the Bible, and now we are on to leadership. So we are in the book of Matthew, chapter 27, verses 57 through 60. And so this is right after Jesus had passed away. Excuse me. This is right after Jesus was killed and murdered. And so it says the burial of Jesus. As the evening approached, there came a rich man from Arimathea, named Joseph, who had himself become a disciple of Jesus. Going to Pilate, he asked for Jesus' body, and Pilate ordered that it be given to him. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and placed it in his own new tomb that he had cut out of the rock. He rolled a big stone in front of the entrance to the tomb, and he went away. And, it goes into more, there's more concerning the whole entire chapter of Matthew chapter 27, because there's about 66 verses. Talks about, I'll give you kind of just starts out with Judas hanging himself, Jesus before Pilate, the soldiers mocking Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, the death of Jesus. And then we just finished reading the burial of Jesus. And then, they actually said, so Mary Magdalene and the other Mary were sitting there opposite the tomb. Then it goes into the guard at the tomb. The next day, the one after preparation day, the chief priests and the Pharisees went to Pilate. Sir, they said, we remember that while he was still alive, that deceiver said, after 3 days I will rise again. So give the order for the tomb to be made secure until the third day. Otherwise his disciples may come and steal the body and tell the people that he has been raised from the dead. This last deception will be worse than the first. So even after Jesus died, they're still going on. Take a guard, Pilate answered. Go, make the tomb as secure as you know how. So they went and made the tomb secure by putting a seal on the stone and posting the guard. So essentially, what we're talking about today is Joseph from Arimathea. And for him, he decided to become he's a disciple of Jesus. But the beauty of the leadership that he displayed was that he was like, hey, hold on a second. I want Jesus, the Emmanuel the Christ, to have my tomb. So he had his own tomb, his own grave that was already there. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to give it to Jesus. And he said, give me his body. And then he took his body and he wrapped Jesus's body in clean linen cloth. And then he placed his body in his own new tomb. The amount of leadership there is phenomenal because that just shows sacrifice. We don't hear about any of the other disciples doing that. In fact, this is the first time that I've actually ever heard this. I've never heard of this before. Mind you, I've read the book of Matthew many times. I've read the book of Matthew many times. But I think that this is so beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful. Just the fact that, I've never heard of this story, and he only had a few verses. But the fact that he gave his own grave for Jesus, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that's love right there. And it just shows the sacrifice, it shows the care, and it shows the fact that he came all the way out and he said, no, let me take his body. And he showed the care and kindness and concern and the love there. That was beautiful. And so be encouraged to be the type of leader that actually makes sacrifices, because that's a beautiful thing. Because when you actually make sacrifices for others, if you make sacrifices for leaders too, they will take notice of that. Look at that. He made it into the history book. He made it into the Bible for what he did, for his courageous act, for his loving kindness, being a disciple, and rocking it out for Jesus. I think that's amazing. What are your thoughts on that? And how have you as a leader sacrificed for another leader? Or how have you as a leader sacrificed for someone else?